Over the last several weeks and months, we've hinted around and talked about belief. And belief is a kind of a mystical subject. It kind of edges into faith, and it edges into, a lot of different kinds of perspectives. And I guess for me to start this, I would say simply that I believe that there is something that exists that's greater than us, and how one deems it appropriate to interpret that, one can. Now, for me, and for the life that I've lived and been fortunate to live, has been an eye-opening experience on so many levels. But one of the things that I've recognized over the years, which is indelibly imprinted in my mind, is I've met a lot of really good people. Fortunately or unfortunately, I've met some people that are not so good. But the bottom line, the most important takeaway from my perspective is, I've met Catholics and Jews and Protestants and people that believe in Baha'i and people that believe, that they're Muslims, et cetera, et cetera. And in every environment, in every single kind of worshiping, or in every spot, position in their lives that they see something larger than themselves, there are good people. But those good people exist in every one of those environments, not just in Christianity and Judaism and Islam, or believing in a variety of other things. Having lived in Asia for a period of time, the whole entire issue with Buddha and other kinds of faiths and beliefs has been mesmerizing, in the sense that I have found beauty in all of them. And what is hard or difficult, or to some degree, maybe even impossible, is to say this is right and all the rest of it is wrong. So what has happened to me personally is the fact that I'm enthusiastic, emotional, and sensitive to different beliefs by a variety of people, but they sum up in a place that ultimately articulates there is something out there. There is something that I can hold on to. Now, part of belief and or faith is a system that we have over the centuries gravitated to in order to provide strength, or in order to validate our feelings, or in order to give us, warmth in the cold, or to give us something to look forward to, or something to engage in. But for every person of different faiths or different beliefs, and for every one of those that exist, there's beauty in all of them. Now, someone can take umbrage with what I'm saying, but the fact is that the idea that there is something greater, whatever it is we want to call it, exists. And whether it exists literally, or it exists in a figment of our imagination, or we've been convinced of it, or somehow we've gravitated to it, doesn't make as much difference to me as it does that faith, belief, is a common denominator. It is something that brings us all together in a world and in an environment that is so fractured and so separate, based on beliefs, based on interpretation of how one feels about things. In the simplest sense, Do you believe in one party versus the other? And does that sway your faith or sway your beliefs? It's so complex. But the truth is, the abject truth is that when people start talking about belief/faith, there is a truth, an absolute truth. What that absolute truth is, I don't know. What I do know is the fact that people believe that they have something that anchors them, that they have something that they feel elevates them, to me, makes us all the same. It's a common denominator. One of the beauties of being a coach and being involved in sport is easy to measure. People engage in it from primordial engagement, I want to just run and jump, et cetera, to more sophisticated engagement. But it's a universal language. It's universal. And I feel that belief on whatever level is also a universal language. I think the most important part of this is we spend an inordinate amount of time trying to find things that we don't agree on. And if we spent the same amount of time trying to find the similarities or the things that we do believe in, whether they are different or not, tells me that there is a similarity that binds us all together. Parents generally love their children. Parents love their children in an unconditional fashion. And they love them whether they are in the Far East, the Near East, whether they're in the north or south of the equator, they love their children. It's something that we share. They love certain things that they embrace, and we share in all of that. But it seems as if over a period of time, and more now than ever, because of the quickness, the agility to hear so many points of view via social media, via TV, via the radio, whatever it is, that we're looking for ways to differentiate ourselves instead of looking for ways to say we are similar. While we may not agree, we are similar. We're human beings trying to make the best of the world we live in, whether that's economic, whether that's social, whether that's spiritual, whatever it is, we are all searching for that. And I am of the conviction that belief systems or a belief system brings us together and doesn't separate us. So being a Catholic, a Protestant, a Lutheran, a Jew, somebody who's Islamic, somebody who is a Muslim or goes to this church or that church is irrelevant in the greater scheme of things. The greater scheme of things is each of us are searching for something that we can rely on. It's a rock. It's a landing place. It's something that we can all identify with, even if we use different words and different methods. And no matter what roads get us there, they ultimately get us to a belief system that we can all agree on, not because it all gets us to become a particular religion or a particular group, but because we're all searching for the same thing. And that search brings us together. What is apparently discomforting and disquieting is that we've also gotten to a place where we believe and we articulate, you either believe what I believe or you are an outcast, or you don't understand, or you can never get to your goal and objective. And because you just don't see the world the way I see it, or you don't see the afterlife the way I see it, or you believe that there is something beyond where we are in this mortal world and something else exists. Is it a place filled with gold-lined streets? I don't know. Is it a place filled with other kinds of rewards? I don't know that either. Is it a place filled with the negative side of things, in the sense that if you were not a good person, this may happen to you or that may happen to you? Who defines what a good person is? Who defines what a bad person is? Those definitions are out the window as it relates to the fact that we all share in a common denominator, which is faith or belief. How you interpret it and how you embrace it is an individual issue. It's something that is internalized, but we all share it. Mankind shares it. Belief is not determined by your height, weight, the color of your skin, where you live geographically. It's determined by, for the want of a better term, what's going on in here and what's going on in here. And in sport, I can measure the quality of a performance. I can measure workouts. I can measure your pulse rate. I can measure 100 variables. But the two things that have eluded us historically, that we can't measure in an absolute way, is what is the tale of my heart and what am I thinking deep in my soul? What is it? And those are the things that separate us, and those are the things that bring us together. So for me, a belief system is a system where someone tells you something, either literally, metaphysically, psychologically, and you decide, I'm going to embrace that because you believe it to be true. You believe that it opens your eyes. You believe that you see it. It's tangible to you. And belief, to me, comes in a variety of forms. I would watch athletes and watch them compete and say to myself, I believe that they're the best person out here. Or I believe they're as prepared as they could be. Or I believe in them as human beings. I know they'll give me everything. I believe that they care about their team and they will do the things necessary for that team to be successful. But we spend an inordinate amount of time, an incredible amount of time, in the world of belief, in the world of believing in. And instead of us taking those beliefs and having them separate us, what we should be doing is taking the fact that each of us have a belief and embracing it and saying, in some way, we are all exactly the same as it relates to that particular issue. There is nothing more gratifying than having your beliefs validated. I believe in this, and the outcome was that. And as a result, it verified, validated, and took my belief and put it in stone. The reality is that good people and bad who have a belief system are validated in any number of ways. I am so convicted to the fact that when we coached and when we were together as teammates or as individuals, we shared so much more than we disagreed on. And what we shared was a belief in each other, in the system, in what we were trying to accomplish, what our goals and objectives were, and a variety of other things. It doesn't mean you're not going to be disappointed. It doesn't mean that you may not fall short or that you may fall short. But it doesn't change the fact that this belief, this goal, this objective is out there someplace, and we're all searching for it. We're all going towards it. And it's what brings us together. It's a tangible intangible. It's something that is hard to identify or explain, but it is as real as anything that happens in your life. It is so real because we gravitated to it. We want it to be true. We want to believe in it. We want to have it validated. And when you're surrounded with people that may be different religions, may have different political views, may have a series of things that are different, but the belief brings us all together. It just cauterizes us. It's something that we should learn to appreciate in anyone's life, regardless of the path of how they got there. We have it all in common. And that commonality makes us human. It makes us similar. It creates an environment we can all hold on to, even if we come from a variety of different places. So for me, belief is fundamental to our very existence. It is fundamental to how we move forward. It's fundamental to how we feel on a daily basis. It's fundamental to our health and welfare. It's fundamental to our performance. It's fundamental to so many things. And we all share it. We all of us share it, even though we may interpret it differently, even though we may see it differently or come from a different place. I think belief is a common denominator that brings us together, not separates us.